good, you guys? It's your boy Raheem the Dream, and thank you so much for watching another episode of Hood Dreams TV. It is your boy Raheem the Dream, and on today's episode, we are doing our recap, our review to Season 5, Episode 10 of Chasing Dallas. And if you're new to my channel, Jumbo, I'm so glad to have you. Please do me a favor, make sure that you hit the subscribe button. Also, make sure that you hit the thumbs up, which is the like button, and also just share this video on your social media with all of your friends and family. As always, I took some notes here on my extra phone that I use here, and we'll go ahead and get right into it because I have an event to go to right after this. A couple events actually. So we start off this episode with Keyshawn. He invites Jeff out just to catch up on everything and how the cash trip went. Jeff mentions that the trip was a little all over the place, which he told zero lies about that. And he got into the Seven and Kesey drama. He said that Kesey didn't come because apparently they had broke up. Sean was shocked too, clutching his pearls. And then Sean does a confessional where he's like, not Seven and Kesey broke up only after 3 weeks. Shady ass. I'm sure they've been together way longer than 3 weeks. Let me see. Jeff mentions that while they were playing games, Astro just out of nowhere took his apology back that he had given Jeff. And I don't really remember, but I don't think it happened that way. Did it? I'm gonna have to go back and rewatch it, but I don't think that's how it happened. I don't think he just out of the thin blue air just be like, I take my apology back. If I can remember correct, I think Jeff in front of everybody was like, so I feel like you owe me an apology. I think that's how it went. I don't think he just Astro out of thin air just like, Jeff, I take my apology back. So I think he was kind of lying in that scene. Even though Jeff is my favorite and they've been beating up on him, I have to, let you know when you're right, and when you're wrong, you're wrong. Let me see. Sean throws his 2 cents in, saying that Astro doesn't even know why he's arguing with Jeff at this point. He just says that that Astro just wants to argue with himself. Pretty much just because he on TV, insinuating, because it's a camera in his face. One thing he also said is that pretty much Astro need to be worrying about his own bookings and stuff, because he was like, this TV show, web series, Chasing Dallas is the only show that Astro was going to be booked for, because he doesn't get bookings from anywhere and nobody else. So that was a shot, a major shot. And I can't wait to see the reunion, to see what Astro is going to say about that. Let me see. Then they jumped to talking about Seven and how Seven was bragging about being on iTunes. And Sean said that basically nobody was even coming to any of Seven's concerts until he joined this show as well, Chasing Dallas. I can't wait to see what Seven's going to say about that at the reunion. I mean, Sean was just shading the girls down. Like, he's going to have so many enemies at the reunion. And then, let me see. Jeff then tells Sean about Seven, saying that the only reason why Jeff is so successful is because he's light-skinned. And let me see. He also talked about how JC called him J-Lo. And honestly, when JC said that in last week's episode, or was it the week before, I didn't even hear JC say that. I really didn't. So that just lets me know that with this show, I literally am going to have to start watching the episodes twice because there's something that I always miss. And so maybe if I watch it a second time, I'll be able to catch things that I missed the first time. That's what it's going to have to be, right? Before I do these recaps. Let me see. Okay, so Jeff explains that Tedley and Marquise were cuddled up together. And I was like, when did that happen? Most definitely I'm going to have to start watching each episode twice, because when was Marquise and Tedley cuddled up? On last week's episode, and I didn't even talk about it. I didn't talk about it on my last review or recap. I didn't see it. That's why I didn't talk about it. So yeah, Jeff says that they were cuddled up together. Let me see. Jeff then tells Sean about the big blow up between Kesey, Seven, and Astro, and Sean calls Astro messy. He says that Astro is messy. And then Sean just gives Jeff advice and says that Jeff shouldn't be genuine with these people, because he doesn't be genuine with this group of boys, because one day they'll be nice to you and then the next day they won't be nice to you. So he just feels like, you know, pretty much stay in your own lane. Don't try to be genuine with these boys. Don't be trying to form, you know, no brotherhood type shit. So I don't blame you, especially with a group of gays. So the next scene we jump to is where Jeff is in the studio, and he invites Seven to the studio with him. And Seven in his confessional says that he wasn't going to come to the studio because he was originally just supposed to listen to Jeff's music and give critique on Jeff's music, but then it later changed to Jeff sending him a blank verse and explaining to Seven that he wants Seven to jump on the track. So that's why he was not going to come, because I guess he said he doesn't work for free, but he ultimately came anyway because that gives him, you know, time to hash things out with Jeff. So he comes anyway so that they can hash everything out and clear the air. And Jeff ended up being the person to apologize first. And I don't even want to say first, because I don't think I heard, did Seven apologize at all? He probably did, but he didn't apologize first. Jeff apologized first. He started it off with apologizing and let Seven know that he honestly wasn't trying to be, you know, malicious by saying that they were all there for him. He said that I really, truly was trying to be there for you. Seven says that every time he's been around Jeff always is mentioning either Kesey, his boyfriend, or their relationship. He said even from the very first time that they met, it's just like every time they come around each other, Jet is always just talking about their relationship. And I can feel you, because Jet, like, do you have anything else to talk about? Like, let's talk about something else. You don't always have to be in my relationship, talking about my relationship all the damn time. Let's talk about something else. But that was no excuse for how Seven treated Jeff. Let's be very clear, because I wouldn't have treated him. I would have told him, like, okay, you're starting to get on my nerves. Stop talking about my relationship. And we would have squashed it and moved on. But let me see. Jeff understands where Seven is coming from, and then he talks about the comments of Seven saying that he's light skinned, and Seven tells him that he's not racist nor colorist. He said that he just had, you know, a little bit too much to drink when he said what he said, and he worded it the wrong way. And basically what he means is that lighter skinned rappers get a bigger budget than the darker skinned rappers get. And that is true. I don't know that to be true for men rappers. I know it's very true with women rappers, but I don't know how true it is when it comes to men rappers. I don't think people gives a F regardless of a man, if he's lighter or if he's darker. I mean, we got plenty dark ass rappers, burnt black, who make top dollar. So I don't know, but I get what he was saying, but kind of was unwarranted, because who even asked that? Asked you to bring that up? It wasn't warranted at all for you to even bring it up, although it is true in some type of capacity. Let me see. And at the end of the day, neither one of them are super famous to be talking about budget and stuff. And neither one of y'all are signed to a record label. So what budget are you talking about? I'm assuming that the budgets are coming out of y'all's own pocket. And so if Jeff makes more money than you, we can't talk about budget because he's not backed by a record label, not to my knowledge. And if he is, you guys in the comments, you know, let me know and correct me and let me know. Like, Jet is signed to a label. But as far as I know, both of y'all are independent. So the whole budget talk is not really making sense to me. Seven then tells Jeff that he thinks that Jeff is very talented, and he doesn't want to take that away from him. He just wants for Jeff to leave his relationship out of it. And from there, they make amends and they hug, and, you know, they make up, and then they proceed to record the single, the song. And so the next scene, we jump to Ted Lee, where he stops by JC's studio to catch up and have friend talk. JC immediately out the bat tells Ted Lee that he hasn't been chasing Dallas, and that instead Ted Lee has been chasing these wiggers. Let's just say men. Ted Lee has been chasing these men, and Ted Lee has to be like, whoa, pump your brakes. Because he was like, when you assume, that's when you make a fool out of yourself. He was like, these guys are my friends. These are not my men. JC at that time just says he just wants Ted Lee to just take some time to himself, and then they talk for a little bit, but it kind of got boring, and I kind of fell asleep for a couple of minutes because the conversation, it no longer piqued my interest. And then when I woke back up from my 1,000-year nap, they were still talking, and they brought up domestic violence and gay relationships. And that's why I was like, okay, now I can, you know, tune back in, because there is a lot of domestic relationship and gay relationships. Been there, done that. And, you know, hopefully a lot of gays are able to watch this show and get a little bit of, and, you know, I don't even know if it was advice, but just know that you don't have to deal with any domestic relationships. Just walk away. Let me see. So they also started talking about certain cast members sizing JC up just because he's one of the newer castmates. And JC says that they can't size him up because basically he's doing bigger and better things than them. He makes more money than them. And the only people that really have been having issues with JC is Marquise and Keyshawn. And he's letting it be known, JC is letting it be known, like, they can't size me up. I'm ahead of life. I'm more ahead in life than they are. I make more money than them. My career is more popping than theirs is. So, oh, my little necklace. Come on, girl. Yeah, let's get this straight real quick. I had a photo shoot today, guys, with my cast photo shoot. I didn't even take my jewelry off yet. And let's fix this. Okay. Oh, JC says that Sean is built like a Dorito. And when I tell you I threw my phone across the room, I was like, not a damn Dorito. I don't think he's triangular. Maybe boxy. Let me stop, because I'm a big boy too. And we ain't gonna do the body shaming over here. But on another note, one thing that I kept looking at during their whole conversation was JC's nails, like his fingernails. And it was super, super white. And I'm like, are those his fingernails? Or is that like fingernail polish? Or is that like acrylic on his nails? It was just weird. And then I looked at Tedley's, and Tedley's just looked like normal, skin colored nails. But JC's were very white, like nut white. But that was something that just, as I'm watching, I just kept looking down at his nails and kept looking back up and down, looking back down at his nails. It was in the way. But let me see. But anyway, we skip to a scene where Marquise and Seven are sitting down at a restaurant just to talk about the cash trip. And Seven does a confessional where he explains that Marquise invited him to dinner to this restaurant. And he says that it's weird that Marquise invited him to this restaurant. And when he said that, I about fell on the floor. He was like, it's weird. And was just making faces. And I was like, oh, wow. So apparently Seven is not as close with Marquise as Marquise thinks that they are. And that's why I was like, ooh, Marquise, you might want to hold back because you think y'all this close. And Seven is not close with you like that. But they get to talking about, everything that happened on the cash trip. And I'm still in shock. I'm still in shock on the whole Marquise backing it up on Seven. Because, what? Where? Huh? Shock. And then, Seven explains that he did speak with his mom about the whole, Cass talking about their breaking up and him blowing up. And his mom did have to remind him, like, you are on a TV show with your boyfriend and y'all are both on this cast. So if you come around saying y'all are broken up and the other one isn't here, they are going to have questions. And so he acknowledged that he has to catch himself because that's to be expected. People are going to have these questions. They're going to want to ask these type of questions. And you can't be blowing up because somebody asking about your boyfriend or your ex that also is on the show. Now, if he wasn't on the show, then maybe. But both of y'all are on the show. So when you break up, it's going to get talked about. Duh. So let me see. Seven does explain that with the breakup, in his confessional, that Kesey didn't do something that was just so bad that it's unforgivable. He said that what happened is definitely forgivable, but as of right now, in that current moment, Kesey was still in the doghouse. Um, and then Marquise asked Seven who he's the closest to. And believe it or not, he said at that very moment, Jet Jeff. And Marquise about gagged because I'm pretty sure he thought he was going to say Marquise. And that probably would have just made Marquise's day. But he didn't say you, Marquise. He said Jet Jeff. And Marquise says that the closest people to him is Seven and Astro. And Seven was just like, yeah, it used to be Astro, but after that BS he pulled at the cast trip and telling Kesey about, me being single and all that, he was like, yeah, I'm good on him. So the door is closed with Astro for Seven right now. Let me see. And then Marquise brings up at the cast trip how he tried to, speak and whatever with JC, and JC had to be like, I'm not talking to you because you're going around telling people that I didn't pay you. And he's telling Seven, Marquise is telling Seven that he had to tell JC, yeah, because you didn't pay me. Like, you didn't. And so then we jump to a scene where, well, we don't jump to a scene, but in that same scene, Seven is like, but JC is the richest person on this cast, which he is. He makes so much more money than all of them. He got all these businesses and stuff, lives in a penthouse with the elevator and all of that, got studios and bars and event spaces and all of that. And Seven was like, he could have at least paid you $250, which after me sitting there doing that math, I'm like, yeah, he could have given you, $250. Like that's nothing to JC. $250 is nothing after seeing the way that JC lives, and you're trying to give this man free publicity. No, you're not giving me no publicity. You're going to give me some money. And so I know that moving forward, Marquise will not be taking no publicity. He'll be taking the money and the publicity. So let me see. Next, Jeff meets up with Ariel, who is Barbie Bankrose. Jeff mentions that she's been MIA, missing in action for a while, and she advises that that's because the group is not good for her. That group is not good for her mental. And she's been in London networking. I hope she's been really getting her name out there, and she's creating a huge following out there and big fan base. But yeah, she says she's been out there networking and just trying to get herself out there. And Jeff catches Ariel up on everything that's happened on the cast trip and brings up the comments that Seven brought up about light-skinned people having it easier than dark-skinned people in the rap community, and he just wants to get Ariel's opinion on it, and she agrees. She says the light-skinned people do have it easier than the darker-skinned rappers, but the caveat with that is that she said that the feminine gay rappers have it worse than everybody. So she says that actually Seven has more of an advantage than Jet Jeff does, because Jet Jeff is super gay. Super gay, super feminine. And Seven is masculine. Well, he does both, but most of the time he's masculine. And I kind of would agree. The people who want to listen to hip hop, they're going to listen to your music, Seven, more than they will Jet Jeff's music, because they don't want to hear pussy this, pop that, this, lick me, suck me, gay sex music. They want to hear hip hop. And so I kind of agree with her on that. Let me see. Jeff does tell Ariel, that they did make back up though. Him and Seven made up and they did a song together. And he does feel that he no longer wants to pursue music. And Ariel was just like, stop, we're not doing that. You're going to continue this music. And she was like, you can't listen to the negativity. You can't listen to the guys in this group. You can't let the drama detour you away from doing your music. And she even tells him that when she first met him, he gave her the confidence to just be like, okay, Ariel, you can do this. After seeing like Jet doing it, she was like, okay, yes, I can do this. And so that was actually a really touching scene. Very touching, almost, had me a little emotional. I was like, oh, that was so sweet. Let me see. And so she just encourages him to keep doing his music and keep pushing on. And she also says that she had a new trade piece and they was laid up in a bed together, and she let her trade listen to the song that she and Jeff did together, and trade complimented Jeff. And so hopefully, he got encouraged and was like, I really can do this despite any negativity that's coming my way. Next, we jump to a scene where Astro and Kesey, they're sitting down by a pool at an apartment complex, and they're talking about what happened at the cash trip. Kesey starts by saying that he's a big crybaby, and I was like, oh, not Seven out here making Kesey cry. Where are my boxing gloves? But Kesey said that as far as the Marquise situation goes, that's up in the air, because after hearing that Marquise was in there just backing it up on his man, he don't know how to feel. And he told Astro, he was like, I don't want to just believe that you made that up out of thin air. So basically, he knows it's true, because he's like, why would Astro just make that up out of thin air? So, So Kesey just doesn't know how he's going to handle Marquise when he comes across Marquise. But Marquise, I'm sorry, not Marquise, but Kesey does explain to us that the issue of why him and Seven broke up in the first place is because he did DM somebody and told this person Happy New Year on New Year's. And that's what the issue is. He did explain that he knew before he even sent the DM saying Happy New Year that he shouldn't have done it, but he did it anyway. And so that's why they broke up, I'm guessing. And I was like, that's a stupid reason to break up. That's very stupid. Unless it has to be more to the story than that. Has to be, because that's the stupidest reason to break up. Even if it was like an ex or somebody, which that is disrespectful, but even if it was like an ex and you were telling an ex Happy New Year's, that still doesn't mean, okay, we're breaking up because you text Happy New Year to your ex. It has to be way more to the story. I mean, way more. And so maybe we'll find out, maybe they'll have a reunion, because I know Chase and Atlanta didn't have one on their last season. But maybe, this season of Chasing Dallas, they will have a reunion and we'll get more information. Unless it comes out on another episode. So let me see. Kesey did advise that they move past it. When he did his confessional, he did advise that they had moved past it. Now, mind you, confessionals are shot towards the end of the season, if not after the season has already wrapped. So, they probably broke up and then they shot their confessionals months later. So which would make sense, because y'all probably broke up like 4 or 5 months ago, and then y'all didn't do y'all's confessionals until 4 or 5 months later. So after 4 or 5 months, y'all are back together. Let me see. Astro does apologize to Kesey, and he was just explaining that in the moment when he told Kesey about the backing it up on 7 and all of that information, he was like, he was honestly just concerned about his friend Kesey's feelings, and he had to make sure that as a friend, he told his friend what his man is saying and doing behind his back, which I'm not mad at Astro for that. Any good friend should definitely be doing that. Now, I'll be having a lot of issues with Astro, but this is not one of them. This is one where I agree with him. Let me see. Kesey does tell Astro that he doesn't feel that Astro was being messy. He feels that anybody that calls a person friend, they should do the same exact thing that Astro did. Okay, and then they hugged it out. And then we go to the next scene, which is the final scene, and that is where we jump to JC's event, which is the drag brunch, where Miss Netta and Charles are the host, and supposedly they are over 2 hours late to the event. They arrive over 2 hours late, and Ted Lee also over 2 hours late as well. But he does come, and he's the only castmate to show up. JC says that he's not surprised by that. When Charles and Netta gets there, everybody's excited. They apologize for being late. They say they are on a tour, going around from city to city to city, and they had just came from Houston. Oh, and let me tell you about this shade, and it's from Ted Lee. Ted Lee does a confessional where he's talking about Charles and Netta, and one thing that he said, which I'm pretty sure he didn't mean it in this way, but he said, seeing the two of them was too cute, and their energy is so in sync with each other. And then he proceeds to say, despite what they look like or what they've done, despite what they look like or what they have done, they're brilliant to capitalize off of who they are as a couple. When he said, despite what they look like, I dropped my phone. Dropped it on the ground. I said, not despite what they look like. I was like, Ted Lee, what do they look like? Tell us, because we want to know. What do they look like? Please tell us. And what did they do? But yeah, that was gag worthy. JC then does a confessional where he explains that the event went amazingly and sold out. And at the end, Miss Netta starts singing the Charles, your lunch is ready. I only cook for you song. And I hate that song so bad. But anyway, that is my recap. This video was a little longer than normal because it was a lot of stuff in this episode. But if you enjoyed my recap, please make sure that you hit the subscribe button. Also, make sure that you hit the like button and share this video on your social media with all of your friends and family. But until the next video, it is your boy Raheem the Dream. Thank you so much for watching Hood Dreams TV, and you guys have a good night.
Anymore. So take it.